Tonight on Piers Morgan Uncensored, Israel at war, the uncensored debate. Mohammed Hijab is a Muslim philosopher, scholar and YouTuber whose first appearance on the show was viewed by more than 8 million people. Rabbi Shmuley has been called the most famous rabbi in America. He is the international best-selling author of Kosher Hate and The Israel Warrior. Both men are passionate, both men are influential, and they both have vehemently opposing views. Tonight, they go uncensored and head-to-head. We're bringing together two very opinionated, passionate, influential people, very opposing views, and we're going to have a proper debate, and we're going to see if somewhere there is perhaps more that we can agree on than we first imagined. So thank you for joining me, gentlemen. We tossed a coin before we came on air tonight, and actually you won the toss, and you said you want to go second.
I defer to my brother.
And the way this will work, Mohammed, we have 4 sections of this debate. And at the start of each one, you'll both get 1 minute uninterrupted to say what you want to say about each of the themed titles of each block. So you go first, and at the end of your minute, you'll hear a sound, and when you hear that, you end, and then Rabbi Shmuley gets his chance to speak. So the first theme is a simple one. Are Hamas to blame? You have a minute, Mohammed, from now.
From one perspective, Hamas started the battle because, obviously, from October 7th, even they themselves title it Tufan al-Aqsa or the flooding of al-Aqsa. But from another perspective, if you really look at it from an international law perspective, we're talking about 1967, we're talking about Security Resolution 242, in which it is actually stated that Israel is in a belligerent state because they're occupying the West Bank, East Jerusalem and Gaza. And they have been, so therefore the war has been continual for a very long time according to international law. But let's remove Hamas from the situation altogether. Let's remove them. What do you have? You have the West Bank. And what do you have in the West Bank? You have 187 children who have been put in prisons. They have been put in prisons, according to B'Tselem, without charge. You have 44 children before October the 7th that have been killed before October the 7th in just 2023 alone. So if you remove Hamas from the equation, what you have the West Bank. You remove dominance from the equation, you have the West Bank, and what you have occupation, you have settlement, which you condemned, rightfully so. You condemned that on your show. The settlement's there.
OK. Rabbi Shmuley, 1 minute to respond.
Resolution 242 in the UN doesn't mention a single thing about aggression or aggressor. That is a total fabrication, and it speaks about disputed territories. But let's be clear. The occupier of Gaza is Hamas. They won an election in 2006. Had a civil war with Mahmoud Abbas, took the Palestinian Authority officials, threw them off buildings, killed Muslims, killed Arabs. Mahmoud Abbas is afraid to go to Gaza. He's terrified of Hamas. He hasn't been there since 2007. And let's be clear, Hamas is an abomination to Islam. Sultan Salah al-Din, the greatest Muslim conqueror of all time, after whom the main artery in Gaza is named, he said that you have to allow all prisoners to be redeemed. He would never hold hostages. And remember, Islam is about fair treatment of prisoners of war. Hamas beheaded Thai non-Jewish workers. You asked in your last appearance here for real first-hand sources. I'm the first-hand source. I saw it in Kibbutz Alumim. They raped women. They had sex with dead women's bodies. They are evil, and do the right thing and call them evil.
All right, we've had a minute each. OK, we've got a passionate start. Mohammed, let me ask you about Hamas.
I want to first, before you do that, I want to commend you, Piers, honestly, because bringing me on for the second time, I have to commend you. And the fact that you actually condemned the settlements is very good. But people want to know, do you think the IDF are a terrorist organization?
No.
You don't think they're a terrorist organization? OK, well, if you look at the UN definition of terrorist organization, they say killing civilians for political gain.
So you're asking my opinion.
No, but if the UN definition, according to the UN definition, it's killing civilians for political objectives. Why are they not terrorist organizations?
Well, you've asked me a straight question. I don't think they are a terror organization.
So when you see babies like this, the ones who kill babies like this are not terrorists.
It's horrific.
So the people who kill babies like this are not terrorists.
Well, let me respond.
Yes.
Let me respond. We'll both,
it's not your turn.
You can both get into this. Here's my response to that. And I've thought carefully about this. I've been very honest about my own feelings. I have a real moral quandary about this because as a father, I hate these scenes of kids being killed in Gaza. It's horrific, right? We all know it's horrific.
But are they a terrorist organisation, though?
I'm about to explain to you what I think my position is. My position is, after what happened on October the 7th, it was so barbaric, so disgusting.
So you can kill children?
Well, no, what you can do...
That's exactly what terrorists say, by the way.
Let me answer your question.
This is not a debate. This is someone else becoming the host of the show and now interviewing you. I thought we're being interviewed. Mohammed, you and I are being interviewed. You're not here to interview him.
You're going to have your chance.
Mohammed, you can put it down.
Don't make him lose control of his own show. You do this all the time. I'm not going to let it happen tonight.
All right, Rabbi Shmuley, let me answer.
Please have respect for the...
No. Stop interviewing the interviewer and be respectful. And be respectful.
Let me respond.
Tell me, sorry, is it a terrorist organisation or not?
No.
Why not?
I do not believe so.
They kill civilians for political objectives.
You have to let me answer.
Go ahead.
Okay. Here's my answer to that. When Hamas did what they did, two things. One, Hamas knew exactly what Israel's response would be. They knew they would come incredibly hard back.
I don't absolve them.
Wait a minute. I'm not absolving anybody.
I'm not absolving them.
Yeah, okay.
I'm saying the West Bank is West Hamas.
I know.
West Hamas.
You have to let me answer.
You've got 44 children killed like this in the West Bank.
This is ridiculous.
Wait a minute, Rabbi Shmuley. Let me just answer you quickly.
Go ahead.
I believe Israel has a right to defend itself from after that terror attack.
But can they kill children?
Wait a minute.
Can they?
Wait a minute. Particularly after the Hamas spokesman only last week said that they want to do this again and again and again. That's an existential threat to Israel.
Why don't they fight them man to man? Man to man. Fight them man to man. Why do you have to kill children?
Wait a minute.
Why do you have to
let me
kill
answer
children?
you, Mohammed.
Why?
Let me answer you.
Of a ratio of 100 to 1, by the way.
Let me answer you.
100 to 1 ratio.
Let me answer you.
Go ahead.
Otherwise, it's pointless.
Go ahead.
So, I agree that Israel must defend itself. I agree they have to get rid of Hamas because Hamas is wedded to an ideology of existentially removing Israel.
Is this acceptable?
Wait a minute. I'm coming to your answer.
Is this acceptable?
I'm coming to your answer.
This is not.
This is not even a conversation.
Wait a minute.
Listen, I came all the way from the United States for this debate.
Let me finish.
And he will not let anyone else speak. And if that's how these shows work, no. You are rude, you are a bully, you just are trying to interrupt people. I'm going to have a chance to speak, or there's no point in doing this show. He did this last time and you allowed him to, but I won't allow him to, because I will never be bullied by a bully.
At the moment,
let me be clear.
Wait a minute. No one's allowing me to answer your question.
Go ahead, sir.
And it's this. I believe Israel has a right to defend itself.
Okay.
I agree that they need to get rid of Hamas.
Who
are terror groups.
In this way?
Well, here's the quandary for me morally, right?
Why is it a quandary, though?
I'll tell you why.
With Hamas, it's not a quandary,
I'll
but
tell you why.
Because
in war, when you declare war, as Britain did with the Nazis...
100 to 1 ratio.
No,
100
of course,
to 1.
There are
combatant to non-combatant ratio.
A far higher number of children in Gaza, proportionate to population, than almost anywhere in the world. So when they go after Hamas...
Give me a chance.
Very sadly... Mohammed, let me finish.
This is becoming ridiculous. No.
Very sadly...
You are the one who insisted on equal time. I never did, but you will not respect equal time.
I will come to you literally in 30 seconds.
He's going to ask you your question.
In 30 seconds, I'll come to you.
He's going to come to you afterwards.
Let me finish, please. I am in charge here, Mohammed. So my final point on this is, unfortunately, in war, civilians
100
get
to 1
killed.
ratio. 100 to 1 ratio.
Yes.
100 to 1 ratio.
Yes, they get killed.
No, not 100 to 1 ratio. It's an unacceptable ratio.
Get killed.
Piers, listen.
Rabbi Shmuley, in you come.
You know, Piers, can I say respectfully, and I mean this as no insult, I'm amazed that you're intimidated by this man. I feel, well, with all due respect, if I can speak,
I wouldn't bring him back if I was intimidated.
If I can speak.
And he raises a very valid question, by the way.
No, he does not, because I have. Before he did this debate, he went on X on Twitter and said, I'm only doing it if there's equal time. And then he is violating that. I never asked for equal time. I just want to be heard. But he won't even let me be heard. Let me explain something to you. You said in a video the other day, and you can look me in the eye, you said that Jews are now trembling. Mohammed, I am not. No, don't interrupt me. I am not trembling. It's all on my Instagram page. Now, you see this yarmulke? It means that I represent something. I'm an ambassador. You're an ambassador of Islam. You are talking about a religion that started the world's first universities, educated women. Fatima started the first university in the 9th century in Fez, Morocco.
Irrelevant.
Now we have a man who says that he's a representative of Islam.
He's meant to be speaking to you, right?
He goes to Speaker's Corner. He speaks about whether 5-year-old girls are old enough for sex. He says that gay men are dying of AIDS as a punishment from God. And I'm sorry to have to say this to the listeners, that blood is gushing from their backsides. They're better off. You know what it is? Because you are desecrating a great world religion. Now let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it's here. Because he will defend. I will. He will defend Hamas's butchery, savagery,
away.
He doesn't care that
Running away.
Hamas is an abomination to Islam because Islam.
But he hasn't done
the
that.
children in Gaza are dying because Hamas uses them as bulletproof vests.
Okay.
The United States and France and England said yesterday that the Al-Shifa hospital is a military base.
Okay.
It has a tiny veneer.
Let him have his minute.
It has a tiny veneer of emergency rooms.
Okay.
Not a minute.
But underneath all of it is a military base.
You have a minute.
And let me
to
tell you
speak.
something. If it's true that any of these countries care about the Muslims in Gaza because they believe what he's saying, that Israel's killing them, this is a map of all the countries that took place last week in Riyadh to save the Palestinians of Gaza from Israel. Do you know how many? That's Israel, a tiny thing. You know how many of them took in even one Palestinian from Gaza? Zero, nothing.
All right.
Look at that map.
Let me-
because they
Stop
want
pointing,
to.
stop
The
pointing.
Arabs
Let
want
me-
to see.
all right,
No, I'm
Rabbi
pointing
Shmuley.
the
Hang on.
Arabs want to
Stop
see
pointing.
Rabbi
Hamas.
Shmuley.
Stop pointing. Stop
Don't
pointing.
intimidate me. Don't bully
Okay,
me. Thank
okay,
you, Mohammed.
let me ask you-
Don't intimidate me.
Stop pointing.
I'm not
Guys,
afraid of
I've
you.
got to be able to ask
Thank
questions.
you.
It's a debate.
Let him
Let's
have
come
one
back.
minute,
let me
he's
ask you
insistent.
one specific question which he raised, which I don't think actually is your belief. I don't think you have defended what Hamas did on October the 7th.
Yeah, I haven't.
I think you share our
Are they
view.
evil?
we-
Are they
Unless
evil?
I'm wrong.
Are they
We've spoken
evil?
about this
Are they
before.
evil?
Stop
Are
speaking.
they
Is it me
evil?
or him I'm
Are
speaking
they
to?
evil?
Stop
Rabbi
speaking to
Shmuley,
this. Stop
Hamas
speaking.
you're now
evil.
doing
Stop
what you
speaking.
accused him of doing.
Stop
so
speaking.
let me ask you, what is your view of Hamas post-October 7th?
I think that they, just like anybody else, have to be examined. Have to look at all.
What's
the
your
pros and cons.
opinion about them?
Yeah, I think that here's my opinion. Let me be straightforward about this, right? Anybody who kills civilians, anybody, whether it's the IDF, I'm consistent in this manner. If it's proven beyond reasonable doubt that these people have killed civilians in both of our faith traditions, in Islam and Judaism, in the Quran is mentioned, in the Prophet, he said it himself, you cannot kill a woman, you cannot kill a child. I condemn them. I condemn them. That's what I do. Straight away, whether he's Muslim, whether he's non-Muslim, whether he's Christian or anybody else. I've already said that. So I'm not being inconsistent here. My question is, if that is exactly the barometer that we're using, if that's the moral reasoning that we're using, then we have to say, look, if you have a 100-to-1 ratio, and that's what it is, a 100-to-1 ratio. And do you know how I got this figure? I got this figure from the IDF themselves because they have reported to
But let me ask you this. Does Hamas deserve to stay in power after what they did?
I don't think we should have Hamas in power. What I think we should...
Okay.
No, let me tell you...
So how
we should have
How do you get rid of them?
We should have a Palestinian Authority with bigger armies and airports with proper tanks and with airplanes like every country in the world.
You know what? You might be right. But here's the
Absolutely.
point.
They won't allow it.
How do you get
The Israelis won't allow
How do you
that.
get rid of Hamas?
What you don't do, I can tell you for a fact, is try and kill 30,000 of them with a 100-to-1 ratio. Because if you do that, then you're committing genocide. Because you'd have to kill 3 million Palestinians.
Rabbi Shmuley?
Do you even know the definition of genocide?
I haven't said genocide.
What's it? You just said it.
No, I said if you.
What is the definition of genocide? What's the definition?
I said if you do.
You always claim to be an academic. You're always touting your Oxford credentials. What is the definition
All right.
of
Conditional.
You said conditional.
Genocide
If you
is
do
where.
it,
Genocide is where.
you'll be genocidal.
Genocide is where
I didn't accuse.
Let him speak.
you target an ethnicity for extinction. Ethnicity, side, murder.
Yes, if you do it. If you kill
Excuse
3
me,
million
now,
Palestinians,
now.
are you genocidal
There
or
are
not? If you kill 3 million Palestinians, are you genocidal or not?
Don't speak over each other.
There are 1.8 million
Holocaust of genocide?
Muslim
What's the Holocaust of
Arabs who
genocide?
live in total peace in Israel as equal citizens. In fact, Israel practiced reverse discrimination against the Jews because the Jews are
What's that got to
conscripted
do
to
with my
fight
question?
Hamas. So, if
Would you-
Israel, excuse
okay.
me, no, you will not interrupt me.
Stop
If Israel,
it,
you
man.
will
Stop
not
it.
interrupt
Stop it,
me.
man. You're
You
embarrassing
will
yourself. You're
not
embarrassing
interrupt
yourself.
me. You will not
You're
interrupt me. You will
embarrassing
not bully me. You will not interrupt me.
stop
I am not
talking, man.
afraid of
You're
you.
insecure.
Stop
Don't
saying
stop
the
shaking.
Jews
Stop
tremble.
shaking.
Now, let me be
Stop
clear.
shaking.
Let me be
We're
clear.
getting nowhere if you shout over each other.
Well, then you need to control your guests with all due respect.
Literally
Okay,
control
he
both-
said
need to control both
he
guests.
said equal time, and there's no equal time. Now,
There's no equal time on
if
this
Israel
bit,
was
right?
interested in a genocide of the Palestinians, why do they have 1.8 million equal Arab Muslim citizens who are in the Israeli Supreme Court, who are 1/3 of the medical
Is that a
profession?
question?
Do you
To
know
me
that?
or
Do you
to
know that? Do you know that an Arab judge put the president of Israel in jail for accused rape? That was Moshe Katsav. That's how little Israel is an apartheid state, genocidal state. This man sitting next to me, Mohammed Hijab, will not distinguish between self-defense when Hamas comes to brutalize and murder your people versus when an army like Britain, like France, stops,
but Rabbi Shmuley,
retaliates
can we go
to
for the-
simply
can we
protect
go back
their
to the
citizens.
strike?
I have to
You
say-
don't believe the Jews should have a right to defend
Rabbi
themselves.
Shmuley,
Say it
Don't
outright
say
then.
that.
Then say it.
The Jews have the right to defend themselves.
He just
They
said
do.
it.
Yes, they do,
So
of
that's
course.
why we have to go.
Everybody has a right to defend
So that's why
themselves.
we have to
Jews
go
have the right
into
to defend
Gaza to
themselves.
stop
Wait.
Hamas.
Yes, they can go
Wait,
into Gaza
Rabbi
and stop
Shmuley.
Hamas.
But
No, they
Rabbi
can go in, but
Shmuley.
don't. No, hey, hold on.
But-
Let me tell you my
Say
position.
it.
Let me tell you my
So they can go in. Thank
He
God.
asked me a question.
Go
Can I
ahead.
answer
Yes.
it? Yes, they can go into even fight. Even Abu Ubaidah, the general of Hamas, he said, "Nahnu fi intidharikum" in Arabic. We are waiting for you. That's what he's been saying. Hold on. You've asked me a question.
Go ahead.
They do have a right. What I've been advocating all along is face-to-face confrontation. What I'm against, hold on, excuse me. What I'm against is 100-to-1 ratio, because if you have 100,
we're going to come to this in block two.
All right. Okay, fine.
Hamas is hiding under hospitals.
Okay.
What face-to-face confrontation? Hamas is shooting children who are going south.
I'm okay with face-to-face confrontation. I like it.
Block two is exactly...
It's the honourable way.
Block two is exactly this question.
Go ahead, let's go.
My only observation,
he hasn't had
Rabbi Shmuley, so far, you're being more personal and ad hominem than he is.
With all due respect, I think that's extremely unfair, because every time I say anything, no, listen.
And you keep answering for him, and in fact, when you actually ask him questions,
because
he gives you straight answers.
If Mohammed Hijab wants to be a representative and ambassador of Islam, then he has to take responsibility for his position.
I don't want to be any of that.
He actually said that Islam believes in death. You're not going to beat us because we want to die. We're prepared to lose thousands of people. Is Islam really a religion of death? You are a poor ambassador of your faith. You believe in martyrdom.
Of course.
Do you want to be a martyr?
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to die fighting the Jews?
I didn't say Jews. Who said Jews?
Okay, you want to be a martyr where? What does it mean? Martyr means someone who dies for his faith.
Muhammad told us, "Man qutila duna malihi fahuwa shaheed." Whoever dies defending themselves, defending their wealth, is a martyr. No.
Do you want to die defending Islam, but do you want Islam to be a religion of peace?
Hold on. This child for us is a martyr.
You're right.
Do you agree or not?
Because Hamas is using him as a human shield.
Really?
Yes, Hamas is hiding behind him.
Let's go to the next section.
Condemn Hamas.
All right, let's time out.
Come on, man.
Let's try not to talk over each other, because the viewers can't hear it, right? I don't mind the passion. I don't mind the debate. I don't mind the fire. I do mind if we can't hear what you're saying. It's pointless.
Let's do the minute.
Let's go to the second topic, right? This time,
has he had his minute, by the way?
Rabbi Shmuley, you will go first with a minute to say what you want to say, and then Mohammed Hijab, you'll get yours. Please? So the theme is this, and the question is this for Block 2. Has Israel gone too far in its response to the October the 7th terror attacks? Okay, Rabbi Shmuley, you have a minute starting now.
I just came here by taxi and passed a statue of Winston Churchill. That's in the lifetime of our parents, okay? He is the greatest British statesman of the 20th century. You know what he did when he had a genocidal threat, knowing that Hitler wanted to eviscerate, annihilate Britain? He carpet bombed all of Germany, Dresden, Essen, Hamburg. Israel has not even gotten close to that. Israel does not send its Air Force to carpet bomb cities. It sends in its military. I have a friend who died, six children, 39, because he was personally trying to stop a Hamas terror tunnel. Israel is surgical. Israel is only going after the fighters. Israel has opened humanitarian corridors for the Palestinians to go south. Hamas shoots them and makes sure they don't go. Hamas builds its military structures. Right, Shifa Hospital is this much hospital, and it's this much military. They love using Palestinians. And that's why they've stolen their money. They got about $16 billion from the international community. There isn't one bomb shelter in Gaza. They don't care about the civilians at all. Israel's doing the right thing.
Mohammed, you have a minute.
What I'm saying is the 100-to-1 ratio comes from the following figures. We know that 10,000 civilians have died. Of them, according to the IDF, as reported by The Guardian, dozens, they say, about 60 Hamas died, which we're being liberal by saying 100-to-1 figures. For every one Hamas, you have to kill 100 civilians. That's effectively what we're saying. If the trajectory continues as it is, then you have to kill 3 million Palestinian civilians in order to kill 30,000 Hamas fighters. If you want to extinguish them, eviscerate them, annihilate them, destroy them, you have to do that. Now, you have Herzog, who is the president that you interviewed, saying that all Palestinians, they are responsible. This man is being more slippery. He's being more slippery than the lubricants that he sells in his daughter's sex shop. And that's the reality of the situation.
Did you really just say that? You know, you seem obsessed with Jewish sex. It's bizarre. Yesterday, you actually spoke about Ben Shapiro's wife.
Yes,
you
I did.
actually you said
Yes,
to Ben
I did.
Shapiro,
Yes, I did.
your wife's a carrot. Well, you're more of a man. Is that what you're trying to
Yes,
say?
I did.
All right. Then you said that Jews have BDSM. You're speaking about sexual lubricants while people are dying. You know, Mohammed, get your head out of the Jewish bedroom. It's really bizarre.
Let me get it?
Let me be clear.
No.
Sexual lubricants? How embarrassing.
You sell dildos, don't you?
Can we get it back?
You sell dildos, don't you?
Can we get it back to the
You sell
topic?
dildos.
You speak about 5-year-old girls being ready for sex.
come on,
Listen, let's go back to the issue. Let's go back to the issue.
Let me ask a question.
Why are you shaking? I've got a vibrator in your pocket.
Come on, it's a serious debate.
I think he's got one of his daughters vibrating.
Come on, leave it, please.
You are just
It's stupid.
humiliating
We're
yourself.
going to cut all this
Back
stuff.
to the issue.
We'll cut all this stuff out. So there's no point.
Why? Why?
No,
Leave
don't
it.
cut it out.
People
It's
should see
uncensored.
what he
Uncensored.
represents.
There's no
It is
point
uncensored.
abusing each other personally.
Okay, Piers.
I want to stick to the debate.
Let's get to the debate.
If you don't want to do it, we'll end the debate.
Let's get to the debate.
Right, let me ask Mohammed a question. Right, I don't disagree with you that so far it seems to me, obviously, a fact that many more Palestinian civilians, innocent people, are getting killed as retribution by the Israelis for what happened on October the 7th. That's indisputable, right? Their argument is that they're going after a terror organisation, Hamas, and unfortunately in war, as Rabbi Shmuley correctly said about what Churchill did in World War II.
Churchill was wrong. Churchill was wrong.
Was he a war criminal?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Churchill was a war criminal.
Yes, he was. Churchill was a war criminal.
All the British
Let me
people
do
who
this
lived there
Churchill was a war criminal.
Okay,
Let me do
and
the
George
question.
VI was George VI a war
All of them
criminal?
war criminals.
George VI
Nagasaki,
war
all of them.
criminal.
Yes, of
So
course.
anyone
his
hang on,
war
Rabbi Shmuley.
criminal, war
Let me ask.
criminal.
So let me get this
Absolutely.
straight. You think
Collective punishment.
You think Winston Churchill
Was a war criminal, yes.
in standing up to the Nazis
By killing the
who
babies.
killed 12 million people?
I believe he was a war
that
criminal.
by doing what he did was a war criminal.
By killing in Dresden and Hamburg.
It's-
By the indiscriminate killing. Collective punishment. My morality says that's impossible.
Okay, that means the British people who
That's impossible.
supported him
You can't
and
kill
voted him
children.
in, they were
My
also...
morality says that's
just
impossible.
a second.
That's what I
But
believe,
the British
yes.
people...
Yeah.
You believe he was a war criminal?
Yes.
So therefore, your belief is that no retaliatory action.
No,
by
you can
any
retaliate to the man, not to the babies.
Tell me a war in history
Yes.
where civilians haven't been killed.
No, I'm not saying civilians haven't been killed. It's
Just
about this
war
ratio.
or
It's about the
otherwise?
ratio. It's
No,
about
no,
the ratio.
What is the ratio?
What about the
What's the
ratio?
100 to 1 is unacceptable.
Actually,
What is the
morally,
ra- what
100 to 1 is unacceptable.
actually, morally,
100 to 1.
Okay, well,
101 is an
100 to 1 is
invention.
hang on, Rabbi Shmuley. So let me give you a ratio.
Yeah.
How many people did the Nazis kill?
I don't know.
You don't
12
know
million.
how
We know,
many Nazis killed?
we know they killed 6 million
They
Jews in
killed
the
12
Holocaust.
million people,
I don't know, so we don't know.
including
No,
6 million Jews,
Sure,
right?
sure.
So
12 million
how many died in Dresden? How many civilians died in Germany? Do you know?
I don't know exactly.
Right, so you don't actually know what you're talking about.
I do know what I'm talking about because
You
I know in
called
Dresden
Churchill-
and Hamburg.
You said
if
it's
he's
about you. Unless I'm wrong.
Yeah, go ahead.
Unless I'm wrong,
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
said it's to do with the
Ratios.
The ratio.
Yes.
But you don't know the ratios. When
No,
you
no,
call,
I know for a fact
You
Dresden
call
and
Winston Churchill a
What are the
criminal.
numbers?
Dresden and Hamburg.
What are the
When you-
numbers in
Wait
Dresden
a
and
minute,
Hamburg?
Rabbi Shmuley. When you
Dresden-
call Winston Churchill a criminal,
Yeah, I believe
you're
a war
basing
criminal.
it on ratios you don't even know what they are.
No, I know for there's difference of opinion among the scholars.
No, there isn't.
There is difference.
Tell us the
Of course.
opinions.
What do
What
you
are
mean
they?
that-
Tell us what they are.
Hold on. There's of
How many
course-
in Dresden?
Excuse me. Stop speaking for
How
me.
many in Dresden?
Am I speaking to him or
How
you?
many in Dresden?
Whatever the number.
You don't know
if
at
it's
all.
indiscriminate,
Okay.
I'm against it.
No, he doesn't.
That's
He
my
doesn't.
morality.
Rabbi Shmuley, you respond.
Dresden's about 25,000, and at the time the Germans were saying 250,000. We know it's about 25,000 today. Let me be clear. Winston Churchill was the greatest statesman of the 20th century.
That's
He
an opinion.
saved the world from
I agree.
Nazi terror.
Yeah.
That you could live in a country that is only around today because of the bravery of that man showing no gratitude is the height of
Stick on topic. Stick on topic. Stick on topic.
And to call all the
Stick
British
on
people
topic.
who
Stick on
defeated the
topic.
Nazis,
Stick
who
on
defeated
topic.
the Nazis,
Stick on topic. Stick on
stop
topic.
interrupting me.
Stick
Who
on topic.
defeated the
Please let each other
Nazis,
speak.
war criminals,
Stick on topic.
his parents, all the other
It's
people,
off topic,
war
off
criminals.
topic. All right,
let me ask Rabbi Shmuley a
is
question.
wrong. No. Let me be clear. Let me
Off topic, off topic.
Don't interrupt
let me
each
be
other.
clear. Mohammed Hijab trades in falsehoods. 300 to 1? What are you talking
100
about?
to 1.
And now he
I
says
said 100 to
now he
1.
says the Jews are about to kill 3 million Palestinians.
I didn't say they're about to. I said
the
if.
fact that this man considers
You don't
himself an
understand.
Oxford academic. I was the rabbi at Oxford University for 11 years. This
Did
is
you graduate
a
from there? Did you
travesty.
graduate from there?
This is a
Let
travesty.
me ask you a question,
graduate from
Rabbi
any
Shmuley.
university?
Wait a minute.
Did you graduate from any
I
university?
have a rabbinical
Did you
degree.
graduate?
Let me answer.
You're excommunicated.
Doesn't matter if
Well, you're
Let
excommunicated.
Let me answer.
Right? I saw you were excommunicated
let me,
from the
I
rabbis.
am a
All right,
rabbinical.
honestly,
Can I speak?
This is pointless.
Go on.
Rabbi Shmuley, is there a limit to the number of civilians in Gaza that Israel can kill to try and
That's a
eliminate
good question.
Hamas?
That's a great question.
Yes, there is.
What's
Thank
the
you,
limit?
but let me ask you.
Not even one. Not one beautiful Palestinian child should have to die because Hamas kicked out Mahmoud
That wasn't
Abbas.
my question.
And not one should have to die. What the answer to your question is that Hamas, if they surrender unconditionally, then
Which they're not
all of
gonna
that.
do.
Okay, fine.
But is there a limit?
Then let them allow all the civilians.
Is there a limit?
Israel said that all the civilians can leave. All the civilians should go south. They begged them, and that's something that militaries never do. Churchill did not tell the people in Dresden, "Come on," and. You came with all your notes.
We get the point.
I'm not here.
We get the point, Mohammed. I get the point. I get the point.
This is all proof that he can't debate me. So he has to use these images. Debate me. We didn't ask you to come on with all your exhibits.
Rabbi Shmuley, let me ask you a question. A member of the cabinet in Israel was actually quoted as saying that nuclear weapons were an option that Israel could use. No one's ever confirmed Israel has nuclear weapons. It's long been suspected. That seemed pretty clear confirmation.
Why are you against nuclear weapons?
Hang on.
If you're not against Dresden, why are you against nuclear weapons?
Let me ask the question.
No, but why are you against it?
I've done this before, this job. Let me do it.
Go on.
Okay? So when that guy says that, if you're living as an innocent civilian in Gaza, what the hell are you thinking? That an Israeli government member threatens the use of a nuclear weapon, which would obliterate pretty much all of Gaza and everyone in it?
Absolutely.
Thank you for the question. If that were true, why hasn't Israel used nuclear weapons against Nasser when he invaded?
It's true.
Well, hold on.
It's true this guy threatened
it. And the answer is no. I know the guy, and I spoke to him about it. His name is Amichai Eliyahu. Israel has never carpet bombed any Arab.
Hang on, Mohammed.
1967
ever. Now.
1967 was preemptive.
He was asked a question by a provocative interview, and he said, well, if you're going to bomb the same thing, it was a Mohammed Hijab type. You want to kill all the Arabs, 3 million people, just drop a bomb. He said, well, if you want to drop a bomb, drop a bomb. He was being dismissive and stupid, and he put out a statement the next day saying that never in history would the Jews ever even contemplate doing that. Let's remember one thing. The only place in the Middle East, one second, Piers, the only place in the Middle East where Arabs have any freedoms, Israel. The only place where they vote openly, Israel. The only place where Palestinian women can dress the way they want, Israel. And let's be clear, when Mohammed Hijab gets up and says that we Palestinians want to be a religion of death, you know, I just got a haircut coming here by an Arab barber here in London, and he said to me, I hope you defeat this guy because he doesn't represent us. We want to live. We want to have good lives. We want to be religious. We want to eat halal. But we don't want to die for martyrdom. You are not a Muslim. You're an Islamist. You're an Islamist.
Let me ask Mohammed a question. Let me ask Mohammed a question. Hamas has 240 hostages. Hamas has 240 hostages they took, including babies, young kids, grandmothers who survived the Holocaust. I mean, an unspeakable further criminal act. We can agree, right?
Of course.
Why should Israel agree to any ceasefire so long as those hostages are still being kept hostage?
Look, my position is very clear. They should fight man to man on the ground. On the ground.
Well, they are.
That fighting.
That's exactly what they're doing.
That fighting, no one can. This is
Mohammed, that's exactly what they're doing.
I know.
Man to man, they took hostages.
Excuse me.
They took babies as hostages.
He's asked me the question.
They took infants as hostages.
Let him answer the question.
You're getting excited here. I know it's your sexuals implying you're the sex rabbi.
Now you're back to my sex life.
You're getting overexcited.
Get your head out of my bedroom.
He's getting excited with me.
Let me ask the questions. You guys answer them. Mohammed, answer my question. Why, if you're Israel, would you ever agree to a ceasefire if those hostages aren't released?
I'm telling you what my position is. My position is man-to-man combat.
Which is what they're doing now.
No, that part of it is understandable. Do you understand?
That's what they're doing.
No problem. But what I think is not understandable, what is not acceptable, because you said, what's a proportionate response? That's the question you keep asking everybody. My answer to you is a proportionate response is one in which the ratios are not 100 to 1.
That's your invention.
Excuse me, please.
Where does that come from? What's your source?
Okay,
tell me the source. Tell me the source.
IDF.
The IDF. Yeah, sure. Tell me when did they say it?
They said,
I know all the IDF spokespersons.
I know
Jonathan Conricus. Daniel Hagari said what? When?
Okay, so let me explain.
No.
Excuse me.
When did he say we're killing Palestinians 100 to 1?
10 days ago, and it's mentioned on a website. I'll tell you
the truth is, they don't.
He never said this is pure fabrication.
Let me finish. You asked me a source.
Which website?
You asked me a source.
Which website?
You asked me a source.
Al Jazeera?
No.
Is it Al Jazeera?
You've asked me a question, right?
Okay.
Are you scared to hear the response?
Go ahead.
Okay, the response is as follows. The Guardian has reported that the IDF have said that in terms of the numbers of Hamas that have been killed, I'm answering this question.
I know.
The Hamas that have been killed, they say, quote unquote, dozens. Now listen.
Hamas or civilians? You said civilians.
No,
wait a minute.
You said civilians.
Wait a minute.
I'm telling you where I got the 100 to 1 ratio.
Mohammed.
100 to 1 ratio comes from
the numbers have
invented it.
10,000 civilians. The numbers 60. It's actually more than 100 to 1.
As soon as you call him out on anything, he has no sources.
No one can hear what he's saying.
Okay.
Let me respond to him.
This is a blood libel.
Let me respond.
The Jews have a right to respond to a blood libel.
I'm about to question him.
It's a blood libel.
Here's the reality. I read that report. That was about at least 2 weeks ago,
Yeah,
right?
10 days, yeah.
The numbers have changed a lot.
Yes, they have.
Israel now believe they've killed a lot more Hamas. They don't know exactly how many, because actually, how do you tell on the ground
By the way,
sometimes
Piers,
to the
one
Hamas fighter and a member of the general population?
Do you know, according to the IDF, and we've done a study on the name that they put on X, they had 1,280 names that they put on X, and according to Haaretz, they put, Haaretz is, as you know, is a left-wing newspaper in Israel. They also put the names of those who have been killed. Guess what? According to them, 340 military have been killed, which means Hamas's ratio of combatant to non-combatant is 3 to 1.
All right.
Imagine Hamas is doing a better job in protecting civilians than Israel. 3 to 1 versus 100 to 1.
I would say that Hamas, by what they did on October the 7th...
100 to 1 versus 3 to 1.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Ordered, by doing what they did, they ordered de facto the disintegration of northern Gaza that we're seeing.
Of course.
And
all the civilians
and the
suffering.
deaths
Have you seen
and the
Piers?
deaths
Piers,
of
sure.
thousands
Let him
of
finish,
civilians.
let him finish.
They knew what was going to happen.
I agree
Piers,
with that.
Piers,
So that's why they should go.
Piers,
Rabbi Shmuley.
in 2005, Israel unilaterally withdrew from Gaza and allowed, Hamas won an election in 2006. They could have built Singapore. You know what they did? They took larger foreign aid per capita than all of Europe received from the Marshall Plan. And look what France and Britain, look how beautiful London is. They took that money and they bought bullets and bombs. They did not build hospitals, not schools. They stole it from the Palestinian people. Ismail Haniyeh is worth $4 billion.
I don't care about
Khalid
that.
Mashal is worth $4 billion.
Why are you talking about him?
Call him an evil criminal. You're afraid to. He says he won't. You see, he will never condemn Hamas because
he has condemned
No,
Hamas.
go ahead.
I've
heard him do it.
Excuse me.
No. He condemned Hamas's attack. He's never condemned Hamas.
Well, let me ask you, do you condemn Hamas?
On what basis?
Here we go. See?
No, hold on.
Play his
Do
game.
you accept now
Let me ask you a question.
Every answer is on what basis? On what this? On this? What's your source?
Let him
Even
answer.
if you ask me, if you do condemn the IDF, I'd say specify your context. In what exact context
Do you defend Hamas as a terrorist organization that just went and killed 1,200 people, burned them alive, beheaded them, and took 250 hostages? Do you condemn them or not? Do you condemn them or not? Get your head into the debate, and do you condemn them or not? See, this is a debating tactic.
It's 2-on-1 now.
Let him answer.
Let him answer.
It's 2-on-1. It's become 2-on-1.
Let him answer.
You're not a victim. Stop the victim, but now it's 2-on-1. Stop the victim. You love portraying yourself as a strong man. Now you're a victim, it's 2-on-1. You probably could take 2-on-1. So answer it. Answer the question. Is Hamas a terror organization you condemn? Yes,
Is that something you and your
Is
daughter
Hamas
said?
a terror organization
Probably can take 2-on-1.
that you...
It's a reasonable question because you asked me, is the IDF a terror
Okay, beautiful. I'll answer your question directly. Hamas is as much a terrorist organization. No, Hamas shouldn't be called a terror organization if the IDF isn't. Why?
Okay.
Because if it's either both or not.
There we are. This is
either both or neither.
Okay, but just
to
to extrapolate your position, because you believe the IDF is, then you're also saying that Hamas is.
Let me tell you my position.
Say it. Say it.
I'm not going to speak.
Rabbi Shmuley, let me get the answer.
The unholy Shmuley won't let me speak.
Right, I'm asking you a question.
At least that was funny. That was the first rhyme you did the whole time. Maybe we could be friends.
Let me ask
it again.
Given you've already stated you believe the IDF is a terror organization.
Yeah.
Am I to assume
legally or morally?
that you believe...
Legally or morally?
Well, hang on.
Go on.
Am I to assume that you believe Hamas is now?
No, this is my position. But you have to give me 10 seconds at least to answer, right? Legally, I think you shouldn't call Hamas a terrorist organization if you're not calling IDF a terrorist organization. That's my position.
But you do both. Call them terror organizations.
Hold on.
Let him answer.
Hold on, let me finish. Because as we said, the UN definition of what a terrorist organization is to kill civilians in order to achieve a political objective. However, on a moral and theological, philosophical level, I agree with Rosalind Higgins, who was the justice of the International Criminal Court, right? The Court of Justice, ICJ, a British justice. By the way, she was a Holocaust survivor as well. She was Jewish.
Yeah.
And her position is that she believes that the word terrorism or terrorist is actually useless. And she says that I'm putting to her...
Can you answer my question?
He's going on for 10 minutes just to evade the question.
Let me finish. So I'm answering your question. So I'm saying that as a moral construct, I think it's a neo-colonial social construct used by people in order to label some people as terrorists and other people as well. As a moral category, I don't designate it as a moral category.
As a legal category. Do you believe, you personally, Mohammed Hijab, do you believe that the IDF and Hamas are both terror organizations?
I think yes. If you say yes to IDF, you should say yes to Hamas.
No,
If
yes.
you say no to IDF,
I'm asking you what you
Hamas
believe.
is a terrorist organization.
What you believe.
If you say yes to IDF, you can say yes to Hamas.
Yes.
No, I'm asking you what you believe.
Yes, I believe legally, according to the definition,
Won't answer
if you
it,
say
for
yes to
God's
Hamas,
sake.
you can say yes to the IDF.
Pierce, we could go on for the next.
We are going to the next.
But if you say no to the
We can go on
IDF,
for the
you
next
can't
100
say
years.
you
Fine.
can't-
We're going to the next block. But that's interesting.
But morally, I don't believe the category has any weight.
No, but you
morally,
have.
it has no designation.
But you have made your position clear, which is
Absolutely.
that you believe they're both terror organizations.
I believe that according to the law, absolutely.
Okay, and that's interesting to
Yes.
me. Okay,
But I have to say,
Wait, let's come to
when
the
you
next.
call the IDF a terror organization, the IDF keeps 1.8 million Arabs
It's his
alive
opinion.
in Israel.
100 to 1 ratio.
The Hamas, this is invention. It's a fabrication.
Let me
You
move
can't
on
even,
to the last
Get
block.
more pictures out. It's
getting
unbelievable.
angry. This could
This
be
is
your
how
son.
you lose a
Your son in
debate
the
when you
IDF.
need to bring. I
Your
brought
son is in
nothing
the
with me.
IDF. He could
My
be this.
son,
Move on.
He
you know
could be
what?
like this.
No, my son
He
is.
could be dead
sorry.
like that.
My son is in the
could be
IDF.
dead.
You're here in the safety of a
He could be
studio
dead like that.
talking about how you want to do martyrdom. You're really risking your life here,
whatever.
Mom. You're big talk.
Your
You
son
talk
could
a
be
lot.
dead right now, like
you
this boy.
attack. You attack.
Look at him.
You attack Ben Shapiro's
Your
wife.
son is in the IDF.
You actually
Could be dead
post,
right now.
You actually posted
Could
a
be
clip
dead right
saying
now.
that. With someone else saying that
Would you
Islam
like your son
teaches
to
you
be
how to
returned
get
in a black
women
bag?
to listen to their husbands.
Your
This
son
is
could
all
be returned in a black
false
bag.
bravado, false machismo.
Your son,
if you're a
Mendy,
real man,
could
go
be
to the
dead.
Middle East and fight. What are you doing in a
do you mean?
television
All right,
studio?
fight with who? Fight with
Let
him.
me move to the last one. Which
You
is,
should be there. You have the right to fight with
No,
the
no,
IDF.
I'm not.
You use your son as a human
All right.
shield.
You
He's
try
using
to
his son as a
bully
human
people
shield.
in debates,
Enough.
and it's being allowed.
Please.
in
He's
this-
using his son as a
this-
human
in this-
shield.
I want to
this is
move to the
ridiculous.
last ironically themed subject. Is peace possible? Okay. Not on this basis, right? But we've got to try and get to peace. So you get a minute each again. Mohammed, you'll go first this time. So you get a minute from now.
Okay, so I just want to say that this man is...
No. Is peace ever possible?
I've got a minute uninterrupted.
Is peace ever possible?
Can I
Is the
speak
question.
uninterrupted?
No, you've got to speak about the subject.
I can say what? Well, he's been attacking me. I
Don't
can
attack him personally. We're not going to use it. It's pointless. I'm going to take it, just for the record, we'll put it on YouTube so people can see it all in context, right? But on my show, I'm just not going to have half of this, what I thought was going to be a serious debate, taken up with you two personally abusing each other.
Bismarck
It's pointless.
Excuse me. Von Bismarck said, I repay people with the currency that they pay me with.
Right.
If he's going to come with ad hominems, as you've acknowledged, I can come back with ad
Right, but
hominems.
you did, and you shouldn't have done, because you had the high moral ground.
Ad hominems?
Now
I
you
believe
don't.
it. No, I believe I can do it.
Man is bringing up
You've
Jewish
both been as
sex
bad as each other.
non-stop in
You've
this
both
entire
been as
debate.
bad as
Where
each
haven't
other.
even mentioned that.
On the personal stuff, you've been as bad as each other. Let's start again. You get a minute from now. Is peace ever possible? Go.
Justice is a prerequisite for peace. In South Africa, when the apartheid system, which we know for a fact Israel is an apartheid state because it has laws like the right of return, which only allow Jewish people to come into the country. And if they convert, by the way, to Christianity or to Islam, they are stripped from that right, it meets completely the definition of apartheid as per Cornell Law School and according to the UN Convention 1973. It's an apartheid system. And as a prerequisite of an apartheid system, you have to be a racist. If you support that, you're a racist. No doubt about it. So number one, 1973 apartheid law. If the black South Africans have been displaced, by the whites, and then they were trying to come back into their country and they were not allowed, and then you asked them, is peace possible? That's not the question we'd be asking them. We'd be asking them, is justice possible? And that's the question that we're going to be asking. Because he can sit there and talk about all these things where the IDF, his son Mendy, is being attacked vibrated by the rockets, and he's selling him and his daughter selling vibrators to the public.
Unnecessary thing at the end again.
I hope you keep that in.
Rabbi
Please keep it
Shmuley,
in. Okay.
1 minute on, is peace ever possible?
Of course, I revere countries like the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, where I've spoken several times. I am safer as a Jew wearing a yarmulke in Dubai and Abu Dhabi than I am on the campus of Columbia University or even Harvard these days. The Mohammed bin Zayed is just an incredible leader. I saw in the Gulf states the Islam that Mohammed Hijab rejects, but the Islamic world embraces. That's why they made peace with Israel. It's a technologically advanced, tolerant, forward-looking, very traditional, very religious Islam, and that's why they've made peace with Israel, and peace will continue to be made. All of these countries are praying for Israel to destroy Hamas, because Mohammed Hijab is an outlier. He's an extremist, and his views, as he represents them at Speaker's Corner of things about women being subject. Okay. But let me just be clear. All of the Arab countries want Hamas destroyed, and the proof is when they had their conference in Riyadh last week, they did not even once call to bring in any evacuees because they want Israel to establish a more democratic regime in Gaza, which they will do. Israel's
Here's my
winning this
follow-up
war.
to both of you, right? just give me a very, very quick snapshot of in 20 years' time how peace could have been achieved. Very quickly.
Okay, the first thing is when Israel withdrew in 2005, almost 20 years ago, if Hamas had not come to power, if they had taken all the international aid that they got, tens of billions of dollars, peace would have been achieved by building businesses, entrepreneurship,
how do we get
schools.
there now?
Okay, we get there now by destroying Hamas, making sure that there's democratic elections, let the Palestinian people, not Mohammed Hijab, not Shmuley, not
I mean, you
Morgan,
both
speak for them,
agree Hamas should be gone, right? We can agree on this, right?
We agreed that there should be a bigger Palestinian Authority with armies
I'll
and
come to you in a
airplanes.
moment, Mohammed. On that, we do have agreement.
And the way we have
They
peace,
should have tanks.
in the history of the world, no two democratic
And rockets.
powers have ever gone to war. That's why since the end of the Second World War, there's been no war here in Europe. We need to see a democratic Gaza. Hamas won an election in 2006.
There's a war in Europe now, by the way. In
Correct,
Ukraine.
because it's against a tyranny. No, I said no two democracies ever gone to war. Putin is not a democracy; he's a tyrant. In the history of the world, no two democracies ever fought a war. We have a democracy in Gaza.
So what does peace look like in 20 years?
Peace looks like the Arabs voting for their rulers, voting and backing them, seeing Israel as a partner, not being humiliated that because of this tiny little red dot surrounded that's humiliation.
Two-state solution?
I'll tell you. If two-state solution is a Hamas state wanting to eviscerate Israel, of course
he doesn't believe in it.
But he doesn't believe in a two-state solution. He believes in a final solution. That's what really scares me. You don't believe in a two-state solution. You believe in a final solution. The way you speak about Jews, you believe in a final solution, and it scares you.
Rabbi, do you believe in a two-state solution?
I love Jewish people.
If that second state is Mexico
Jewish
and
people are
Canada,
fantastic people.
If that second state is Gaza, then of course not, because it'll just become another genocidal enemy wanting to wipe Israel off the map.
That's pretty unequivocal. He doesn't really want a two-state solution.
I don't want a two-state solution. That's a terror state to destroy Israel.
I personally believe this whole question should be left to the Palestinians of what kind of solution they want. However, having said that, this man has written in his book, A War in Israel, that is the settlements.
I didn't write a book called A War in Israel.
It's called the Israel Warrior, something like that.
Thank you. Thanks for plugging that.
Fantastic.
I appreciate that.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
In that book, he writes that the issue of settlements that me and you both condemn, Piers.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, we do. He doesn't condemn it because he sees an ancient biblical reason to be in that whole land.
I think Arabs and Israelis should be able to live wherever they want. I want Arabs to live in Jerusalem. I want Arabs to live in Tel Aviv. I want Jews to live there. I don't believe in the Judenrein in Israel. I don't believe in Arab. I am so proud that Israel has 1.8 million Arab Muslim citizens who are protected by the IDF. He calls the IDF a terrorist. They are defending Muslim lives.
What you should be less proud of is the rapid expansion of these settlements on the West Bank. It has been incredibly divisive.
Do you condemn that?
It's been, in my view, illegal. It's been declared illegal.
Illegal by everyone's view.
Well, Pierce,
human rights.
There are many things I'll defend Israel about. That is indefensible.
But let me answer. If you go to places in Judea and Samaria in the West Bank,
why are you calling Judea and Samaria?
Because those are the biblical lands.
Who cares?
Why do you call something Arabia? It's where the Arabs are from. Judea is where the Jews are from. Now, you don't know history. It was always Judea and Samaria. The West Bank is the West Bank of a river. You don't call California the West Bank of the Mississippi River. Now, let me go back.
Call it Canaan.
If you go to the Barkan Industrial Park in Judea and Samaria, you will see, I've met the Palestinians, I've interviewed them. They are paid 20 times the salary working for people you call settlers. They want them there. It brings civilization. It's only jihadis who don't want it. It's only jihadis. And that's why you're saying...
That's not true.
Yes, it is true.
That's not true.
I've interviewed them myself.
I know many Palestinians who definitely do not want them.
You know Palestinians who want to live under Mahmoud Abbas with no democracy.
Let me come to Mohammed.
And afraid to criticize him and throw him into jail.
Mohammed.
Yes, my friend Mohammed. Go ahead, Mohammed. Please. You're wearing my favorite blue color. Of course I'll let you speak.
Fantastic. For that reason?
Yes,
brilliant.
Thank you.
What, just because I'm wearing the blue?
My mother loved that color, and she passed away
I thought it would have been because of Israel, because you...
Oh, that's right. You wore the Israeli colors today. Can we shake hands?
No, please. I don't want to, because your hands are shaking. Your hands are shaking.
Sorry, but I mean, look how peaceful.
Why
you wouldn't shake my hand?
No, I'll shake hands with you.
You wouldn't shake my hand?
After what you said today about me, I can't shake your hand. But
after what you said about my sex life, and I'm shaking your hand.
Stop. I just want to say.
You won't shake my hand. You won't shake my hand.
The problem is
that's really sad. I guess there will be no peace.
You know, what he said there is a little bit telling, because you know the blue colors in Israel and all that kind of stuff. He defended Dershowitz, which was Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer, for that very reason, because he's a supporter of Israel.
I defended Dershowitz.
Did you go?
Dershowitz and I fought over him going to Qatar. You don't know anything.
You wrote it on the Observer.
You're abysmal. Ignorance is shocking. Me and Alan Dershowitz had a huge fight over him defending Qatar.
Did you go to the island?
Come on, guys. Get back to topic.
Did you go to the island?
Mohammed. Anyway, 20 years time.
Mohammed.
20 years time. No, I don't care about Alan Dershowitz. I know Alan Dershowitz. We're not going to use the stuff about Alan Dershowitz. Forget it.
What is your obsession with sex? I don't get it.
I'm not going to use any of both of you seem totally obsessed with sex.
Unbelievable. Well, I wrote a book called Kosher Sex for Marriages. I didn't write it to get into other people's bedrooms.
I don't care about either of your sex lives. Okay?
He seems pretty interested in mine.
20 years' time.
I'm not interested.
20 years' time, what does a potential peace look like?
I don't know. But that's a speculative question, to be honest. You're asking me a hypothetical. You
Two-state solution?
I don't know. You're asking me a hypothetical question.
I
asked you a hypothetical. You said I don't do hypotheticals.
I wanted to give me hope.
Why did you not answer my hypothetical question? If you're asking me a hypothetical question, the Belfast question. Why?
Huh?
Remember, I asked you the Belfast question and you didn't answer it.
I don't think there is. The only parallel.
Why didn't you answer that one?
Because they're different situations.
No, but it's hypothetical. You're asking me a hypothetical now. Why?
But you have to answer. I'm just asking you.
No, but why do you have a double standard?
I don't think asking you how peace might look like is hypothetical.
No, it's talking about the future in a hypothetical.
How would you like? Let me rephrase it. How would you like it to be resolved, this crisis?
Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
Okay, look. Yes, let's look at history.
River to the sea. That's how you want it, right? No Israel.
Let him answer. Don't answer for him.
Honestly, you'll be surprised to know this. And people talk about, you said this, and I have to correct you. I looked at the Hamas charter, Hamas themselves, yeah? In Article 16, even they say you can have, in Article 31, they say that you can have peace between, they can have a shared land between Christians, Muslims, and Jews. They even say that. I think the most radical elements, everybody you want, the jihadis, these one, that one, no one actually wants the extermination of Jewish people. That's a lie.
Actually, that's not true.
The Hamas charter. Wait. Now, let me speak.
I'll tell you
the Hamas charter. Here, let me speak.
I'll tell you
Hamas charter calls for the Hamas charter says that behind every single tree and stone where a Jew.
That's hadith of the Prophet.
Now you're saying that the Prophet Muhammad said that? It says that every Jew has to be murdered. How can you possibly deny that?
That's hadith.
You have. What's the hadith say?
The hadith says in the end of time, it's an eschatological hadith.
Yes, go ahead.
It's an eschatological hadith which says that on the end of time there'll be a war, and there will be trees and stones that say behind me is a Jew killing.
So Muhammad is saying that the Jews should be killed?
This is a hadith which has been misinterpreted.
What does it mean?
What does
it mean? What does it mean?
No, it means that it's an eschatological. It's not an imperative.
What does it mean?
It's not an imperative.
Are you obligated to kill a Jew according to the hadith? You're not. Okay.
I'll tell you.
But they don't
Wait a minute.
Pick and choose. They don't pick and choose.
No, excuse me.
Let me
answer your question.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. Is this a theological question? So I'm answering you. This hadith is called an eschatological. You know this because you're a theologian. It's an eschatological hadith. It's not talking about.
It's not literal.
It's not like 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse number 3, where it says, "Go and kill the men, women, children, donkeys, and oxen," which, by the way, Netanyahu quoted.
No, that's not true.
He quoted Amalek. He said you can kill them 1 minute. It's not like that.
See, this is the blood libel of saying the Jews want to.
Can I get a word in here?
But Pierce,
let me put a point. I'm going to put a point to Mohammed.
Of course.
I'll tell you who wants the absolute annihilation of every Jew they can get their hands on. All the Hamas terrorists who crossed the border on October the 7th, who gleefully recorded it, boasted about it, and the Hamas official. Wait a minute. And the Hamas official spokesman, who only last week said they want to do it again and again and again. If you don't think Hamas are wedded as an organisation to the annihilation of Jewish people, you are living in
in their charter. In their charter, it says that they will murder every Jew in London.
They've showed us what they want to do.
That I agree with. Hold on. Let me tell you why I agree or disagree. Both the IDF and Hamas, on paper, say they don't want the annihilation of Muslims and Jews.
No. The Hamas charter says that's not true. I'm not going to. The Hamas charter says explicitly that every Jew will be murdered by Hamas. They are a genocidal charter. Yes, it is. And you're not. You are lying. I'm sorry. It's not true.
Nobody can hear either of you. Right, the point is, in my estimation, after October the 7th, Hamas are now a openly boastful, genocidal bunch of terrorists.
Yes,
with
terrorists calling their parents and saying, I killed 10 Jews.
I just said
the Likud party in 1999 had the charter, and in it they said they want the whole of Israel, including, as he believes, the West Bank and Gaza and everything. If we are going to, because there is...
Did they say they would kill Arabs? God forbid, Arabs are equal citizens. Arabs will be equal citizens.
Let me finish. They're not equal because there's apartheid laws.
No, there's no apartheid
law
law.
of return.
The apartheid
law
law.
of return.
So let me explain that.
No, let me get to the point.
You can go to
One thing
Portugal
outside.
and Spain
Let me
and
one thing
show that
outside.
if you have ancestry, they give you citizenship. That's Israel. If
Not
you have
Arabs.
Jewish
Not
interest.
Arabs.
No, every country.
Arabs or not?
Listen, this
Arabs
is
or not?
the country.
Arabs or not?
Muhammad.
Aha.
Muhammad, let me speak. Let me speak. We live in a Christian country where the sovereign head of state is a Christian. I'm a Jew. I never felt alienated from the fact that this is a Christian country. Arabs live as equal citizens in a Jewish state.
Man.
All right.
You're a Muslim. You know,
Wait a minute, I'm going to come
but you
to
know, the astonishing thing is,
Party.
We can actually ask each other questions now.
Muhammad had
I'm
two
about to
Jewish
go.
wives, but you won't shake the hand of a Jew. And you know why? That's
you.
not Islam. That's
Not you.
Islamism.
All right,
Islamism is
let me
deeply
move on.
anti-Semitic, and it's sad.
We're
It's
going to
really
the final
sad.
part.
It's sad.
And the
did have
final
Jewish
part
It's
is
pretty
where
sad.
I want to try and end this, right? It's been acrimonious. It's been passionate. I'm not sure we've achieved very much, certainly not as much as I hoped to. I think we're all agreed that Hamas need to go. Many would perhaps agree Netanyahu should also have to go.
He doesn't. He's his friend.
Right? Well, I personally think the will of the Israeli people.
His friend, right?
Democratically elected leader, I believe in
Hamas had
democracy.
democratic elections.
Hamas is a dictatorship. They ended elections a year after they're a dictatorship. That's why Mahmoud Abbas will not go there. He's afraid of them.
Let me finish.
You can't just offer these fraudulences and not be challenged.
We're coming to the final block.
let
Which is,
Epstein get-
this final
maybe
block
text you.
doesn't have a thing. I just want to see if we can get to any points of agreement. Right? We've had all the arguments. You've shouted at each other. You've personally abused each other.
Yes.
Right? You're passionate. You've raised some good points, but they've been mostly shouted out.
I just want to know how he
Can
would
we
feel
end
if
with
his son comes back in a
No,
black bag
you've
like
shown
this.
us the
Mendy.
pictures, right?
That's such a disgusting
And by the way,
How would you like it?
Mohammed,
can we
he'd
make
like
sure
it as
this
much.
stays in the show?
He'd like it as
You're
much as the
asking me
pictures.
if my son,
All
you
right.
know how low that you get?
Yeah.
You
So you get
attack
angry with your son, you
Ben
don't get angry with
Shapiro's
this?
wife. You're not a real man. Real
Okay.
men don't attack
How
women.
comes you don't get angry
Real
with this?
men don't tell us
How
that
comes you don't get angry
5-year-old
with this?
girls can have sex. Real men
I
don't
didn't say
speak
that.
about another. Yes, you did.
Your
You
son
said
could
it.
be
It's
like
on
this.
my Instagram.
Would you-
Don't say that
why do you use
5-year-old
his son as human
girls,
shield?
prepubescent, should have
Why are you
sex.
getting angry with them and not
You
Palestinians?
are talking about my
Your
son because
yeah,
you're
your
not
son.
a real man.
All right, whatever.
You're a bully.
Why don't you fight an
And
IDF?
if you really
Why don't you
believe,
fight
and
the
if you
IDF?
really believe
Why'd you
in
push
your
your son as a
martyrdom,
human shield?
you would not be in the safety
Why don't you put your son as a human shield?
of a
You're the
studio
one.
in London.
You can
Do
find
not
the
bring
IDF.
up my son.
Mendy's
Do
here.
not bring
Imagine
up
that's
Ben
Mendy.
Shapiro's wife.
Imagine this is
Stop
Mendy.
picking on
Imagine
women.
this is Mendy.
Stop. See, you want
Imagine
a
this is
civil
Mendy.
debate, but
Imagine
imagine
this
a
is
man
Mendy.
Come
saying
on,
that
Listen.
your son is dead.
Listen.
You
Imagine
have
your son
no
is dead.
morality.
Imagine
you
that.
have no decency.
Take a look at that.
You have no
Imagine that's your
goodness.
son.
And this
All right,
debate is
imagine that's your
son.
apart because
Put the
this
pictures
man
down.
is here
I could spend-
to
I could-
speak
wait
about
a
my
minute.
sex life. He's here to say my son's going to die. He is a Jew hater. He's an anti-Semite. He's an Islamist. And the fact that
I'm
this
more
debate
Semitic
has
than you'll
gone
ever be, my
along
friend.
this way, allowing
You're
him to evade
European.
every question.
You come from European extraction. Are you Polish?
Fabricate.
Are you Polish?
My father's from Iran, my friend. You know
Yeah.
nothing
No, you're
about
Ashkenazi.
me. Okay?
You're Ashkenazi.
My father's from Iran.
Yes,
my
yes,
father
yes. What
was
about your
raised
mother?
around
Your
Muslims.
mother?
And he didn't meet Muslims like you.
I'm more
They were
Semitic than you
Muslims
are.
who tolerated
I'm more
people.
Semitic than you
The
are.
fact that
What is
he
the
is
point
allowed-
of this?
The fact that he's been allowed to offer fabrications of Jews killing 3
Imagine
million
this is your
people.
son.
The fact that he's allowed
Imagine.
to offer fabrications
Imagine this is your son.
that have no source, that the
Come back in
IDF
a
is
black
killing
bag.
1,000 to 1. The fact that he's been allowed to tell his lies is a travesty of this show. It's a travesty
Imagine
of
this
the
is your
media.
son.
The fact that he has not
Imagine
been
that's your-
challenged by
imagine
you,
that's your
Pierce,
son.
is unacceptable.
You know one of the
He has
problems-
evaded every question. The
You know-
fact that he's
Imagine this
allowed
is
to
your
talk
son.
about my sex life,
Imagine
Jewish
this is your
sex
son.
life, he's obsessed with people's sex
Imagine
lives.
this was your
This is
son.
a travesty. And the fact that
Mendy.
you're not ashamed
Using
of
him as
how,
your shield.
and the
All right.
fact that you are not ashamed
Have
of
you
how
finished?
you,
Let him speak.
Have
how
you finished?
humiliate
Shut up,
Islam.
shut up,
Islam
shut
is
up.
a
You know
great
what?
world
You know
religion.
what,
This is
Rabbi
wrong.
Shmuley?
And Muslims should reject this
All
man.
right,
Not me, not the rabbi. Muslims
all
should
right,
reject this man.
It would be a lot easier for me to challenge him, which I have done repeatedly, and actually
let him evade
Here, his
and
answers.
evade and evade
If you
and
allowed
evade.
me to do my job rather than shout over
From
every
day
single
one,
thing
he
he
was
says.
interviewing you, Pierce. From the first
he
second, he was
wasn't.
asking
No, he
you
wasn't.
He
questions.
wasn't.
No, I wasn't.
He was asking me
It
a
was the first
perfectly.
question.
He was asking me a perfectly legitimate question,
Yes.
which I was trying to answer, but you kept shouting, as you have done for the entire show.
This is
So
not,
when you
this is
say-
not a debate.
When you say
a debate that talks about my
And the pair
sex
of you-
life,
the pair
attacks
of you-
women, says my children
the
are going to
pair of
die.
you-
This
the-
is not a
for God's
debate.
sake, put the
this,
pictures down.
This is a man who
The
cannot
pair-
debate. He has to bring
Rabbi
in these
Shmuley-
pictures. Why don't you make
I agree.
arguments instead of showing pictures?
down.
Rabbi
What is this
Shmuley-
drama.
Rabbi
Why do you
Shmuley-
have to show these
Control
pictures?
yourself.
Why don't the pair of you-
Why don't you care
Calm
about
down.
Muslims being killed by Hamas
All right.
for 17 years, stealing their money?
Should we just
Why
forget
doesn't it bother
this?
you that Ishmael Haniyeh is worth $4 billion?
Shall we? Do you want to even conclude this? Because it's pointless.
It's not me that's speaking.
I mean, in a way, what do either of you think you've achieved with this?
You know what
The
I've achieved?
constant personal
I'll answer
abuse.
that. I'll answer.
The constant personal abuse.
I'll answer. Can Can I answer that question?
That's a rhetorical question.
I'll tell you what I've achieved. people like Islamists like Mohammed Hijab, and you can answer, if you don't interrupt me, I'll finish with this and then you can speak. They believe that Israel is going to disappear. They believe that we Jews are afraid of them. They believe that we Jews won't debate them. They believe that we tremble. He did a video last week where he said, did you see how they tremble?
Who's they?
I have seen. Who are they? Who are they?
I didn't say Jews.
Then who did you mean?
So why did you...
Who did you mean? He meant the Jews. He won't even say
Anti-Semitism can't.
You know why I'm here? You know why I'm here? Let me finish. You know why I'm here?
Anti-Semitism
You know why I'm here? I'm here to show
to shut the debate down because you're weak.
We have
you're weak, just like your son. Your son, the coward. Your son, the coward, the IDF coward.
We have stared down the Babylonians.
It might be like this.
We have stared down the Romans.
Your son, the IDF coward, that might be come back in a black bag.
We have stared down the Greeks. We will stare down Mohammed Hijab and the Islamists.
You go fight with your son. Go fight with your son.
We are the eternal nation. So you know what I've achieved? I've shown people like him that we are going nowhere. We're not afraid of them. We don't tremble. We're not afraid. And if we haven't achieved a constructive dialogue, we've tried with the Palestinians for 75 years. We offered them a two-state solution, 1936.
I don't think you've made any attempt to civilize dialogue.
Oh, come on. This was never civilized from the first moment. Okay, this was never civilized.
Actually, it was.
Piers, can I just
respond to that? This was never civilized.
Forget about all this.
A man accusing Israel of killing 3 million Palestinians is a fraudulent lie.
That's not
what he said. A man who cannot cite sources is a lie. He's saying that Israel's an apartheid state.
I'm immune to this. Of course they're apartheid.
20% of the soldiers fighting for Israel are black, by the way.
What do you want to say?
Yeah, they're black, and if you look at the Haaretz newspapers, they're treated as second-class citizens.
Mohammed, what do you want to say in conclusion?
Hold on. I want to say something that he said about the Peel report in 1936, which is a point of historical contention. He doesn't know that. He mentions this in his book as well. He's mentioned it before, 7 times that the Palestinians want peace. He doesn't know what history is, because let me respond to you. In 1936 and 1937, where the Peel report happened under the premiership of Ramsay MacDonald, and then 1939, when the White Paper took place under the premiership of Neville Chamberlain, actually, the Arab Higher Committee, which represented the voice of the Palestinian people, agreed with the conclusions of the Peel report. In 1947, the Arab League agreed with the conclusions of the Peel report. He doesn't know that because he has
no truth to that.
No, I'll give you the sources. Excuse me. I'll give you the sources. I will give you the sources.
Al-Husseini said we will never accept it, and then he moved to Germany and lived with Adolf Hitler. That's the truth. The Mufti of Jerusalem was the leader.
Let me give you the sources. Let me give you the sources.
This is pure fraudulence. It's not true. The Mufti of Jerusalem was a Nazi, and he rejected it, and they all followed him. He was a Nazi, correct?
No, he did.
He was a Nazi. The Mufti of Jerusalem was a Nazi.
He wasn't a Nazi. He shook hands with Hitler.
No, he went to live with Hitler. I don't know if he lived with Hitler. Forgot about that.
No, I don't know if he lived with
Hitler. He moved to Germany.
You know this is all completely unwatchable, right?
I know.
People at home are just going, what is the matter with these two guys? What is the matter with you?
He wants my nation not to exist, and I want my nation to exist.
Why can't you try and have some civilized dialogue?
No, because I'm answering his questions.
You can't.
Let me speak.
Neither of you can.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying. I'm not interrupting him. I'm saying...
You didn't interrupt me.
You've both done it to each other the entire show.
Okay, here's what I'm saying. In 1936 and 1937, you have the Peel. He said, what's the source? The source is the Encyclopedia of Palestine. So the source is the cablegram, which you can find on the UN website in 1947. I'll tell you the days. On the 15th of May, 1948, which is when one day after the State of Israel was established, according to the UN website, which you can find on the public records, a primary source material, that the Arab League said that we consider the conclusions of the Peel report as acceptable. And
in 1948, they said that? 5 Arab nations invaded Israel the next day in the War of Independence.
Great. Let me tell you why.
1% of the entire Israeli population were murdered by the Arab armies.
Fine.
Did you just say they accepted the state of Israel? Did you really just say that?
Yeah, I did say that. I said that.
You just said that in 1948 the Arabs accepted the state of Israel.
I'm giving you sources.
Does this show up any credibility at all?
Let me give you sources.
You just answered it.
Can I give you sources?
That's what you're there for.
The sources that I'm presenting...
Shmuley, my name is
Shmuley. The sources that I'm presenting you is as follows. Yes, you're right. Of course, there was a war in 1948.
5 Arab nations.
5 Arab nations, only 3 of them crossed the border, according to Rashid in his book, 100-Year War, which I can recommend to you. And other books as well, Albert Horaini and others, secondary source material. But the primary source material is this. In 1947, undoubtedly, it's on the UN website, you can find that the Arab League, they accepted the conclusions of the Peel Commission that took place in 1936, 1937. By the way,
years later?
No, 1940. In 1940.
What about me giving you an example? This is all getting the weeds. Let me take you to the mid-90s, right? The mid-90s, there was a deal,
93,
which was the proper deal,
93,
right? And Arafat at the last minute walked away.
That's false.
Well, the source is Bill Clinton, who done the deal
No,
with him.
the source is Dennis Ross. And let me tell you something.
Bill Clinton says in his memoirs,
Bill
My Life,
Clinton
he
makes
says, I
it
told
very clear.
Yasser
Can I
Arafat
answer-
that you made
Go
me
first,
a
go first.
failure.
Go first.
Arafat agreed
Go
the
first.
deal with Bill Clinton and then reneged on the deal.
Correct.
Can I
And
answer?
that
That's
deal-
wrong. That's wrong.
Looking back,
That's wrong.
it's not wrong.
Can I answer?
It's not wrong, Mohammed. And
You have to give
looking
me a
back,
chance.
and looking
You have to give
back,
me a chance to respond.
let me finish my question to
sure.
you. And looking back on it, I would simply say,
Yeah.
when you look at the entire history of this conflict,
No, but let me respond to that, please. Yeah.
that was the moment when real peace could have been achieved.
That's wrong. Let me tell you why. Okay. Let me tell you why. And you can both listen to this very carefully and take notes and check me, fact check
Just
me.
answer the question.
No, go ahead and fact check me. In 1993, you had the Oslo Accords. There was two signatories, as you know, Arafat and Rabin, and both of them got the Peace Prize for that. You know that. Everyone knows that, except
And Shimon
Yes.
Peres.
Pardon?
Peres also
Yeah,
that.
Peres, of course. But I'm saying the Prime Minister and Arafat at the time they signed it. You agree? Yes, you wrote it in your book. Up until 2000, there were what you call peace conferences that took place. Taba 1, Taba 2, etc., etc. You agree? Everyone agrees. All right. In 2000, this is what you're talking about, not 93. Because 93, Arafat...
93 was Oslo 1. 95 was Oslo 2.
No, I know. He's talking about...
2000
He's talking
was
about...
Yasser Arafat, Bill Clinton.
Give me a
I'm
second.
talking about the
That is
period
correct.
when
He's talking about
Arafat
walked away.
No, what
when
you're talking
Arafat
about
and Bill
Camp
Clinton,
David, correct.
Yeah,
that
Camp
whole
David,
period
correct.
when
Good.
Arafat and Clinton
So yes.
were negotiating,
Yes.
and they finally got to a
No,
point.
he's right. He's saying that he's right because he's saying that in 2000,
Yeah.
the Camp
They
David
went to Camp
summit.
David.
Yes,
correct.
that summit,
okay,
yes.
excellent. Now you see, from 1993 up until 2000,
Yes.
you had these peace conferences. Everyone agrees. Okay.
Yes.
In 2000,
And the Wye River Accords, which is signed by Netanyahu, by the way.
No,
But that's the period
we'll
I'm
come to
talking
Netanyahu in a
about.
second. He was against this whole thing from the
No, he
beginning.
signed the Wye River Accords.
Let me
Go
come to you. 2000
Yeah.
is what you're talking about walking
Yes.
away. Let me tell you some sources. I'll give you Israeli source because I know Dennis Ross is what do you call it? He's a biased source, right wing, Zionist, whatever. I'll give you another Zionist source. His name is.
What's the point
Ben
of this,
Ommi.
Mohammed?
His name is Ben Ommi. He's Ben Ami. Ben
What's
Ami.
the point of this?
Ben Ami mentioned that the deal that was struck in 2000, he wouldn't accept it himself if he was a Palestinian. That's what he said in his words. In his memoirs. Number one. Number two is, if you consider what happened...
I don't know who Ben Ami is. He seems to be the most
check it out.
insignificant...
Check it out. Google it.
He could be a columnist.
He's not insignificant. He was part of the Accords. No, let me, please.
You know
please.
what? It doesn't matter.
No, please, it doesn't matter because you're saying they walked away. It's not. That's according to one source.
I've read Bill Clinton's biography.
Yeah,
and
but
which he tells the whole
he's
story.
getting it from
Correct,
Dennis
he does,
Ross.
he
He's
does.
getting it from Dennis
No,
Ross.
he was there.
I believe Bill
What do you
Clinton.
mean?
No,
Yes,
he's getting it.
Okay,
Well,
let me just be clear. Bill Clinton and Ehud Barak offered Arafat
go on, go first.
97% of
That's
the
true.
West
That's
Bank
false.
Judea and Samaria.
That's false.
Wait,
It's not
wait.
false.
So can I respond then?
And not only did Arafat
false.
not accept the deal, Arafat didn't even counter. He left without countering.
Let me
and then when Arafat was leaving and he shook Bill Clinton's hand, this is the story that Bill Clinton tells in his book, My Life, he shook his hand and he said, Mr. Clinton, you're a great man. And then Clinton looked him in the eye and said, I'm not a great man. I'm a failure.
Yeah.
And you have made me one, Mr.
Correct.
So you go
And
both of you are going to one source.
No, wait. But then let's get...
Orientalist.
It gets better.
Not
It gets
one
better.
source.
No, let me- I'm
It
giving
gets
you
better.
multiple
It was widely reported.
Let's get...
Who
It gets
else?
better.
Who
In
else?
2000,
Everybody.
in
Who's everyone? Give me one
2008,
source.
in 2008...
You're wrong, Mohammed.
How am I wrong? Give me your source.
It was Arafat.
The
Clinton-
the
Ben
source
Ami.
is the president of
No,
the
who cares? Who
United
cares?
States.
He's biased like
You
every
don't
other
care.
person.
Arafat
You don't
walked
care.
away from the best
No,
deal
that's wrong. That's
that
wrong.
there's
That's
been
wrong.
in the whole
Let me
conflict.
explain
Do you
something.
In
believe
my
Forbes? Do you
estimation-
No,
believe?
please.
Do you believe
Please,
Forbes?
let me respond
Do
to
you
you.
believe
Let me respond
Forbes
to you.
magazine?
Let me
Do you
respond to
believe
you.
Forbes
No,
magazine
there's
that
second resource.
Don't talk over each other.
Arafat died?
Do you want me to-
billionaire?
can we make
you
it
believe
civil?
that?
Make it civil.
Maybe
Let me
Arafat
respond.
didn't want an end to the.
Are you
Let him
scared?
respond.
Are you scared? Are you scared of my response? Are you scared?
I don't think so.
Great,
You
let me
use
speak.
the word scared a lot. It's-
Okay,
Let
don't
him
run away.
respond.
Let me respond. Okay,
Run away?
Don't run away. 1990.
I'm right here, Mohammed.
Okay, great.
Right here.
So
I'll get
let him
closer to you if
respond.
you allow me
Listen,
to.
listen.
You think I'm
Stop
afraid.
shouting, Rabbi Shmuley.
93, as we said, there was all these accords from 93 to 2000. Now, in what were the contentions? Let me tell you what the contentions were on the Oslo Accords. Number one, Jerusalem. Number two, the settlements. Number three, the occupied territories. Number four, the borders. That's what they were mentioning. Yeah.
You forgot the refugees, which is the most contentious.
Yeah, sorry,
by the way.
refugees.
You
Correct.
forgot
correct,
that completely.
Okay, the refugees, correct. Which is the right to return law, and we know this apartheid anyway. But anyways,
No, it's not apartheid.
Okay,
every
we'll talk about
country
that.
in Europe allows people with ancestry
You have a
to
point,
get-
you have
to
a
get-
point, Mohammed.
Okay, I do have a point, which is as follows.
What is it?
They divided the areas into area A, B, and C. Okay.
That was Oslo 2 and 95.
Okay,
correct.
yeah, sure. So what I'm saying is, in that time, the question is who was treacherous to the agreement? Because we know that, as you know, you condemned the settlements. That was part of the Oslo Accords.
No. The people
course
who were
it was part of the Oslo
treacherous was
Accords.
Arafat, who was giving the
Why should they
terrorists
accept
money
it?
to kill Jews. 1,000 Jews
Why should they
died,
accept it?
which is the equivalent here in Britain of 30,000 people being killed in terror attacks.
All right.
Can I ask Mamba one question, please? You said Oslo 1, Oslo 2. May I ask you one question?
I don't know if I want you to answer me any
okay,
question.
well, you don't have to answer. But I'm
So
gonna
this
ask
is
you.
the point.
Does-
This is a
how,
myth.
How much?
This is a myth.
How much of the Palestinian population in the West Bank, as you call it, is controlled right now by the Palestinian Authority. What percentage of the Palestinians are under Mahmoud Abbas? You won't answer it. You don't know, do you?
None of it, because all of it is
he doesn't even know.
All of it is controlled by the IDF.
Answer how many are controlled?
None of it.
Not according to Mahmoud Abbas.
No.
You know the answer
all of it is controlled by the
97%.
Okay, here's what we're going to do.
97%.
Do you know what it's like?
I'm going to end the show by you both having a minute, uninterrupted, to summarise, right?
Let him go first, it's no problem.
How you think we move on from here. Because clearly anyone watching this is going to see two completely intractable sides, right? This is what I see on Twitter all day long.
Right.
I see people on the Israeli side and on the pro-Palestinian side, and they scream at each other all day long. Right, they say some things that are right, some things that are wrong. As well. Whatever. There's this kind
You'll get you involved in it.
Well, you both said to me before we sat down. I don't want to speak out
absolve himself.
Speak out of turn, but you both said to me independently.
So now it's the two of us ganging up on him.
Well,
finally,
you both said to me before we started. You said that the American Jewish community were very pleased with what I'd done on this show.
They are.
And you said that the Muslim world pleased with what I'd done on the show, and I took that as a perfect extrapolation of what we've been trying to achieve, which is giving both sides a voice and a platform. And
so let me do my minute.
What has not worked is bringing you together like this, because actually it's been an ear-thumping, screaming match. So you're now going to get a minute each to summarise, right?
You can go first.
And in the summary, I want to see if we can at least pretend to be constructive here, right?
Okay.
Because the world needs this somehow to end.
Okay.
So, Rabbi Shmuley, you go first.
First of all, Mohammed, thank you very much for wearing the Israeli colors. Thank you for your support of the Jewish state. We greatly appreciate it. I should have done the same. Secondly, I'm sorry you wouldn't shake my hand. I will shake your hand anytime, because I do believe what Pierce said. We have to have peace and harmony going forward. It's a shame that you said no. Third, peace will come when my Arab brothers and sisters who are the green on this map accept that tiny little thing that I'm covering with my finger, that tiny little thing called Israel. And when they understand that Israel is not the Jewish homeland, Israel is actually the great Arab hope. If our Arab brothers and sisters get the economic prosperity of Israel, the rights for women, the rights for freedom of assembly, to criticize their governments without fear, the way the people in Hamas, in Gaza would be murdered by Hamas, let alone in Palestinian Authority, they'd be thrown in jails. Israel's the great hope. Let me just say this. Islam is a great world religion. It created the world's first universities. It introduced agricultural reforms in Europe under Sultan Akbar in India 400 years before Europe. You had Al-Razi, who introduced medical reforms 600 years before the
All right.
And if we return to that kind of advance, not the Islam that is being advocated by Mohammed Hijab, which is antiquated and dark ages, then we will have peace.
Okay.
So God bless my Muslim brothers and sisters, and I will shake your hand anytime.
Mohammed, a minute for you.
As I said before, and I'll say it again, justice is a prerequisite for peace. If this was the case that it was South Africa and both nations had a long and known history with each other, Israel and South Africa, and there's a book called The Secret Alliance that you can read for your further information. If this was South Africa and the blacks were kicked out of their country, they were kicked out of their country by the whites, like the Nakba, 700,000 Palestinians were kicked out, and then they had the audacity to talk about peace, nobody would be accepting it. The apartheid laws of South Africa are the same, effectively, as the apartheid laws of Israel. You're not allowed to come back to the country unless you are of a specific ethnicity which meets the requirement for apartheid. The 100-to-1 ratio of being killed in Gaza, this seems to be acceptable to Shmuley, unholy Shmuley. It seems to be acceptable to him.
It's a good rhyme.
Not acceptable.
It's a very good rhyme. At least a little bit of comedy.
It's not acceptable to me. It's not acceptable to the people. When we see these images, it's absolutely not acceptable. So peace is justice is a requirement for peace.
By the way, it's Shmuley, not Shmuley. It doesn't rhyme.
You don't get to go all over.
Doesn't matter what your name is.
Look, I found that quite a dispiriting hour. I've got to be honest with you.
Doesn't matter.
I thought both of you let yourselves down. I gave you a great opportunity here.
We gave you an
to try and
opportunity as well, players. Come on.
Well, fine. You can say what you like about me. I don't care.
We gave you an audience. You gave us an audience.
It's fine. But it's not just about the audience. It's about a big audience, which we're getting for all these shows. About a big audience seeing people try to come together.
Don't be sanctimonious, though.
Nobody here has seen you even try to come together.
Why would
it's dispiriting to me.
Pierce,
what can I do?
Pierce, with all due respect, since
try harder.
I believe.
Do you agree with apartheid?
I believe in
try harder, as Nelson Mandela did when he came out. Nelson Mandela could have gone down this road when he came out of prison after 27 years.
And they called him a terrorist then. They called him a terrorist.
No, wait a minute.
Yeah, they did.
He could have come out of prison and he could have taken the path of vengeance.
He did.
Instead,
He was violent.
Instead,
What are you talking about?
he took the path of peace.
He was violent.
He took the path of
reconciliation.
What are you talking about?
When he came out of prison, he took the path of peace.
He was violent. And you called him a terrorist. The British called him a terrorist.
I take constructive criticism, and I will think about what you said.
And Mandela was pro-Palestine.
But I will tell you.
He was against
But I will tell you. If you bring two people on to a debate, and you're saying that we let you
Don't give him
down
lessons.
our audience.
Don't give him lessons.
Okay.
Don't give him lessons.
When you bring
He's a very successful man.
When you bring
He's a very successful man.
and you allow
I'll be quiet, man.
one to bring up
Don't give him lessons.
stuff that is so just embarrassing, like people's sex lives.
Well,
and
you've
everything
written
else.
30 books
No, I
on
did
sex.
not. No,
You've
I did
written
not.
yes, you did.
I did. No,
Your sex? No?
Oh, I'm proud of my books on sex, but this is a debate about the
I
Middle
don't
East.
care about your sex lives, either of you. All
You
right.
seem to be really interested
That's
in mine,
it
Mohammed.
from me. Whatever you're up to.
We'll talk later.
Keep it uncensored. Good night.